goals chat as well. It's just like, the online right personally do this kind of thing because it's fun for them, because it's a what are you going to do about it moment. Okay, that's all this is. And in that process, when they keep pushing it over and over and over again, okay, and you find yourself in this like weird moment where you're just like going back and forth with a dude who like thinks it's okay to do this kind of thing and doesn't really care about it, whether they are an ideologically committed Nazi or not, it doesn't matter. They're doing it specifically to be like, I don't care about this. I'm going to do it just so you get pissed off. Some people do it because they obviously are ideologically committed to the Nazi project. Other people do it specifically because they want to be like, yeah, I really pissed you off, didn't I? Aren't you triggered? Aren't you destroyed? Here's my epic troll. That's it. That's all this is. Okay? That's all this is. That's all that's happening right now. In many ways, it's just like the most annoying person in your group of friends when you were growing up. Okay? It's basically that. Do you understand? It's like the I'm not hitting you. Why are you hitting yourself over and over again? Or it's the I'm not touching you. I'm just in your face. What are you going to do about it? That's what this is. Except the playground bullies have virtually all the power. We exhibited a similar tendency from liberals when they were talking about how the Houthis go and learn today during Operation Save Amazon Prime, Operation Prosperity Guardian, the $1 billion money sink that blew up Sana'a and numerous other parts of Yemen that amounted to basically nothing. The only thing that actually stopped the Houthis from overtaking boats and implementing a blockade was the ceasefire, right? We wasted $1 billion. In that process, what did liberals do? They said, American military is hard-dicked, it's mighty, it's powerful, it's awesome, and we will dominate you. We will dominate you peasants, okay? Now, if you're a random-ass dude, okay, upper-middle-class dude living in America, why do you care if the American military is dominating some of the poorest people on the planet, okay, who, with the very limited resources that they have, are trying to make an impact in the positive direction, okay? Why? It's because you're powerless. You're powerless, but the American military is powerful. So by definition, when the American military is doing powerful things, that makes you feel powerful. It's a similar predicament to how, in the Reconstruction era, white people that never actually owned slaves or didn't necessarily have a lot of, didn't have a lot of financial opportunities, still felt as though they were above black people. It reminds me of the LBJ quote, when you have nothing, when you have no power whatsoever, when you're constantly angry, you look to others that have less than you and match up against them to make yourself feel powerful. Okay? That's precisely what these guys are doing as well. The people that take a lot of joy out of all of the things that Trump engages in. People that actually find so much tremendous joy in quote unquote owning the libs and like DEI is being ousted or whatever. It's because they just have nothing. They have nothing and they feel like their resentment is being expressed by Donald Trump. They want to feel like the government is moving in a direction that is positive. Anyway, Steve Bannon on Jordan Bardella's CPAC cancellation over Nazi salute. He's a little boy. If he cancels because of what the mainstream press says about my speech, he's not fit to lead France. Yes, after Steve Bannon hit the Nazi salute, Jordan Bardella canceled his CPAC appearance.
French media, for the what media?
For the French media. Hi, I'm Claire Mignon with Le Point. Jordan Bardella canceled his intervention today.
He's unworthy. If he canceled it over what the mainstream media said about the speech, he didn't listen to the speech. If that's true, he's unworthy to lead France.
Yeah, it's because the nationalists are trying to actively make themselves seem like the normal party. That's it. The Nationalist Party is trying to move away from being like the far right, being perceived as a far right party. And in many ways, because of Macron's capitulation to the anti-immigrant sentiment and anti-Islam sentiment in France, the far right party has become, or at least the things that they're advocating for, have become the normative position of many French people. That's it. That is the real reason why they also actively avoided aligning with the AfD, for example. Le Pen party try to keep mainstream far-right ideology? They do, and they have. They have successfully done so. Their politics have become the politics of the center, especially when you think about the immigration stuff and anti-Islam stuff. Like, that is literally Macron's position, straight up. So they're trying to take advantage of that by because the Overton window is like firmly slanted to the right, to the far right on this stuff because of the centrists and the centrist capitulation. There are parties further to the right than they are, okay? And they're basically trying to say, like, no, we are the new moderates. We are the new middle.
He's a boy, not a man. Okay, he's a boy, not a man. So if he took what the mainstream media said, I did that exact same wave at Front National 7 years ago when I gave a speech to them, okay? If he's that worried about it and wets himself like a little child, then he is unworthy and will never lead France.
Was it a Nazi salute?
No, it's a wave. It's a wave like I did all the time. I did.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a Nazi salute. Come on, it was a wave. Yeah, again, entertain the conversation, please. I would never do that.
I did it in Front National 7 or 8 years ago. I do it at the end of all my speeches to thank the crowd.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But no, I want to be quoted. He's a little boy, not a man, and only men or women of.
Yeah, only men and women will be brave enough to be able to hit the Nazi salute. Oh, also, there was this as well. They're getting far way comfortable inciting violence against anti-Zionist Jews. This is scary as Ben Lover says, following his Nazi salute, Steve Bannon engages in an unalloyed anti-Semitism, calling progressive U.S. Jews the number one enemy inside the wire for Israelis. Progressive Jewish billionaires funding all this stuff, disloyal to Israel and MAGA. Interesting.
Where are you from?
I was born in Jerusalem. Folks from USSR, so they've expelled into real socialism. My question is to you is this. What do you think about foreign aid to Israel? Is it a strategic partnership?
Israel is a partner of the United States, but people in Israel got to understand something. The number one enemy to the people in Israel are American Jews that do not support Israel and do not support MAGA. Okay, MAGA and the evangelical Christians and the traditional Catholics in this country have Israel's back. They have the Jews back. The biggest single enemy to the Jewish people are not the Islamic supremacists. The biggest enemy you have is inside the wire. Progressive Jewish billionaires.
The biggest enemy to Americans, the biggest enemy to Israel is American Jews, progressive American Jews. I mean, not completely incorrect when he says that from the perspective of a fascist government in Israel. Yeah, they also see it that way too, for sure. Also, I don't know who a progressive billionaire is. That part is ridiculous. I think that's him trying to be the populist when he says progressive billionaire Jews. What a ridiculous thing to say.
Stuff. They are the number one enemy, and the people in Israel got to have to set that right. Because MAGA has your back, traditional Catholics have your back, and evangelical Christians have your back. We will always have the back of Israel. But I got to tell you, you have an enemy inside the wire.
Insane. Bannon has always been a strategic coalition builder for MAGA and the global nationalist movement. That means naming the right enemies. To cement the dominant coalition between Christian nationalists and the Israeli and American Jewish right, dissenting Jewish voices must be neutralized. That means 80% of American Jews who oppose MAGA, and for most, Bibi, are labeled an enemy within, corroding the Judeo-Christian West through betraying Israel and funding progressive causes. Years of scapegoating Soros and globalists paved the way for this, and since 10/7, scapegoating groups like JVP has lent it a sharper edge. Many centrist liberal American Jewish leaders have certainly participated in the latter, and so have helped undermine their own position, emboldening a MAGA movement arrayed against them as well. This is something that I actually talked about on the Bad Hasbara episode, where America is a nation built on Judeo-Christian values is a relatively new propaganda item, okay? It's a post 9/11 statement. Before then, ain't nobody was saying that, okay? So right-wing, ultra-Zionist, or even liberal Zionist American Jews weirdly think that there is some semblance of allegiance here, not realizing that the Judeo part can be deleted from that conversation just as easily as it was slanted there. And it's just very strange to me that people don't realize that. And unironically, every single person who has a pro-Israeli sentiment that consistently ties what Israel is doing to Judaism because they think it's a solid defensive posture is unironically advocating for more anti-Semitism in this country. Okay? That's it. Israel, as it stands, is a far-right nationalist government. It does not matter what their religion is. That is all Israel is a ethno-nationalist, fascist government. So if you are a progressive Jew or Christian or Muslim, it doesn't matter, and you look at that and you try